I'm very impressed the Jets were able to close this deal, get Garrett Wilson to take this deal, because I think there's a chance in 2 years Garrett Wilson will outplay this deal. But at the end of the day, that amount of money guaranteed, why would a lot of people pass on it? And he has a chance to, if he is a top 5 receiver at the end of the day, maybe in 3 years he gets a new deal anyway. This is just kind of how the NFL works at the end of the day. So a big win for both sides on this. Now, how do you maximize your number 1 wide receiver that's going to be paid, obviously, like a top 10 receiver in football? The big question I have here is, should Garrett Wilson live in the slot? Now, looking at Garrett Wilson last year, he caught 35 of his 48 targets out of the slot, right? When he was targeted out of the slot, which was 48 times, he caught 35 of those passes, over 13 yards per reception on those catches out of the slot. He had 230 slot snaps in 2024 compared to 735 out wide. Keep that in mind, right? Because you look at his efficiency, or how often he was able to catch his passes, his targets out wide, he caught 64 of 102 targets. So out of the slot, caught 35 of 48 slot targets, still averaged over 13 yards per reception. So if your argument is, well, is it just kind of a lot of dink and dunks? Well, he caught 64 of his 102 targets for only 9.8 yards per reception out wide. So not only was he converting more of his chances out of the slot, he was making bigger plays. And it's not just per reception, it's what he was able to do with the ball in his hands after those catches. After the catch out wide, he only averaged 3.6 yards after the catch on those receptions. But in the slot after the catch, he averaged 6 yards after the catch. So the numbers are telling us here with Garrett Wilson, not only is he more efficient and more productive in terms of the yards per reception out of the slot, but he's a more effective after the catch threat with the ball in his hands out of the slot. Now, this is one to me that the eye test has always passed, right? We're going to learn a lot about Fields, and the next one we're going to learn more about with more volume. With Garrett Wilson, there's enough volume, and one of the players I compared him to coming out of college was CeeDee Lamb. You look at CeeDee Lamb and his slot usage in the Dallas offense and in the backfield and the way they move him around, it's very, very easy to kind of look at Garrett Wilson and go, well, he'd have a lot of success in the same role. And in flashes, he really has. And there's been times the Jets have used him out of the backfield. Obviously, there's plenty of times where they use him out of the slot. But 230 slot snaps compared to 735 out wide, that to me, when the data is telling you, and this is data I fully believe in here,